I think that's okay. I'm not sure. If I sit like this. My phone is right there. Okay, so let's begin. Good morning, everyone, or should I say bonjour? Well, it's actually about, yeah, it's still bonjour. It's still bonjour. This is my first video on this channel, and I spent a lot of time wondering what I would talk about, choosing the subject of the very first class on YouTube, the very first video on YouTube. It's been kind of nerve-wracking. So I hope you will find it interesting, and I hope you're going to learn something from it. I really do. And if you do, don't forget to subscribe. I don't know who my first subscriber is going to be. And honestly, it's probably going to be myself. I think that I'm going to subscribe to me, to Sikolo. But if you are my second subscriber, because I definitely will be the first one, if you are my second subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you very much for trusting me, for believing that you can learn something from me. And that is my goal. My goal is to be able to make learning French as simple as possible, as easy as possible, because it is really not that complicated. My goal is to teach you French the way that they should have taught you in school, but unfortunately, that's not how it's done. I tried to learn English when I was in school, and I did over 10 years of English in school, and that's not where I learned to speak English. So if it has happened to you, this channel is here to change that. I am filming from Instagram. It's probably not the best setting, but if you like this, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. Okay, and we'll do something different. But let's begin with the class. Today we are going to talk about silent consonants. And I decided to talk about silent consonant as my first class because I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people. What are silent consonants and what is the rule? In French, we have words that end with consonants, not vowels, consonants. I'm going to put some examples on the screen. They should be appearing somewhere here. Okay. We have words that end with consonant. And the rule is anytime that a word ends with a consonant, that consonant is silent. Let's take a very common example. In the English language, very often you will see this word on the screen. Now, an English speaker is going to say blanc. Why? Because there is a C at the end. But that's not correct. Because if we follow the rule that says a consonant at the end of a word is silent, then we're not going to pronounce the C at the end. In French, we say blanc because the C at the end is silent. Do we write it? Yes. Why do we write it? I don't know. Really, nobody knows. Somebody a long time ago decided that it was going to be like that, and we just accepted it. And maybe there is a reason. If you know what the reason is, then tell us in the comment section and I will learn something as well. But when I was a little girl and I read that word blanc, I was told it's not blanc, it's blanc because the C at the end is silent. And I just accepted it. I was very little and I didn't ask questions. So that's how it is. And that's why in French we say Paris. We don't say Paris. I hope you understand so far. I'm going to put 3 words on the screen and let's see if you're able to apply the rule that we just learned on those 3 words. Okay? The first word, how do you read it? Frais. There's an S at the end. We do not read that S at the end. Frais. The second word is grand. One more time. Grand. There's a D at the end. We do not pronounce that D. The third word is beaucoup. Beaucoup. Now, a lot of people want to pronounce the P at the end and they say beaucoup. but that's not correct as well, right? Because here we're going to apply the rule, and the rule says that the P at the end is silent. Let's do one more. This word on the screen, the T is silent. So we say petit, petit. Now, in order for the T to become a letter that we pronounce, we have to add an E at the end. Petite. So the first one, petit, the T is silent because that is a consonant at the end of a word. But the second one, petite, the T is not silent. Why? Because it's not at the end of the word. There is a letter E after the T. So the letter T is not the last letter of that word. And because it's not the last letter of that word, it becomes something that we pronounce. Silent consonants are important because very often they tell us the gender of a word. When I hear petit and when I hear petite, I don't have to see it written. I know just from what I heard if the subject is feminine or masculine, if we're talking about a man or a woman. Okay, so now you know that, and we have arrived at the point where I mentioned that in French, we love exceptions. We love exceptions. There are exceptions to every rule, and I think there are exceptions to our exceptions. I don't know why there are so many exceptions. Understand that there's probably an exception to every single rule in French. There are some words in French that end with a consonant, and that consonant is not silent. That consonant has to be pronounced, it has to be read. So how do you know when you have to pronounce the consonant at the end and when you don't have to pronounce the consonant at the end? Well, there isn't really a rule for that. When we are children, we are told that's silent and that is not. And, we are too little to question it. So we don't question it. We just learn it like that. And now that I am an adult, that's the way it is. And it might not be the answer that you want. It might not be the answer that you want, but I'm going to say surrender to it. Okay? Surrender to it. There are rules and there are exceptions to the rules. Let's talk about the exceptions. The letter R is very often an exception. I'm going to put two words on the screen. The first one is fleur. Fleur. That R at the end has to be pronounced. It's not a soft R, it's a strong R. We have to be able to hear it. If we don't hear it, then no one knows what you are saying. Fleur. The second word is hiver. Hiver. It is also not a soft R. We have to be able to hear it. The letters C, F, and L are also usually very often exceptions. Let me give you an example. The word on the screen, that's cognac, the C at the end, is not silent. Chef. And as you know, the F at the end is not silent. Avril, it ends with an L, and that L is not silent. Well, I hope today's class is going to be very useful to you, and I hope you have learned something. If you have learned one thing, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you have learned two things by now, consider subscribing because you are going to continue to learn more. Now, if you want, if that's something you would like to do, go ahead and put words that you know in French that ends with silent consonants, and I will tell you if it is correct or not. Also, put some words that you think are not, do not end with silent consonants, and I will tell you if that's correct as well. If you want to see more of me, I am on Instagram and I am on TikTok. I post there 3 times a week. But if you want to have long form content where things are explained in details, this is the place. Here, you and I can take the time to understand concepts that can be hard to understand usually. So go ahead and subscribe. Be my second subscriber, be my 10th subscriber. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. Every time I look at my subscriber count and I see that one more person subscribe, it makes me very happy because it tells me that somebody thinks that they can learn something from me, and I know that you can learn quite a lot from me, but it's just great to me to see that somebody else is going to get on the journey, is on the journey to learning French. And I'm very dedicated in helping you reach your goal. So go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time.